They say goth is just a phase.
Yeah, usually right before someone buys their third velvet coat.
Tonight, we descend into the beautifully bleak world of Gothic culture,
From Victorian death obsessions,
to modern mall goths and elder emos still paying off their Hot Topic credit cards. Welcome to Creepin' It Real.
Cindy sips ink from a crystal cup. Topics float up in a swirling puff. Tonight a pirate, tomorrow a priest. She toasts each topic like a charming beast. One co-host swears the moon's alive, the other claims they did not survive. Welcome to Creepin' It Real. Sindee Nyte, the Baroness, curious questions answered, pulling all the threads of your strange routine. Step through the doorway where nothing's ever quite what it seems. Raise your glass to the unusual themes. Welcome to Creepin' It Real.
Hello, my deliciously dark gothlings. I'm Sindee Nyte.
and I'm Creature, your friendly neighborhood fiend of mild concern.
Tonight, we're diving into Gothic culture, past, present, and delightfully misunderstood. Because nothing says misunderstood like wearing funeral attire to the grocery store.
Excuse you, it's called being prepared.
Prepared for what?
Emotional devastation, obviously.
Before goth was eyeliner and Bauhaus playlists, it was architecture, towering, dramatic, and just a little bit extra.
Basically, the original emo buildings.
We're talking medieval, Gothic cathedrals, Notre Dame, flying buttresses, stained glass.
Nothing says fear God like a building that looks like it might eat you. Truly terrifying. Then came Gothic literature in the 1700s.
Ah, yes. When authors realize castles are way creepier if something is definitely living in the basement. Works like The Castle of Otranto, Frankenstein, and Dracula shaped the dark romantic vibe we still love today.
Fun fact, goth culture owes a lot to people having absolutely terrible nights in drafty castles.
If you want peak Gothic energy, look no further than the Victorians.
The only era where grief had a dress code and a timetable.
Victorian mourning culture exploded after 1861 when Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, died. Victoria wore black for the remaining 40 years of her life, and society followed her lead like well dressed ravens. One very sad queen accidentally launched the longest running goth trend in Western history.
Which really set the tone for I'm sad, but make it fashion. If modern goth invented a time machine and landed in the Victorian era, they'd feel disturbingly overdressed by comparison.
Because in the 19th century, mourning wasn't just emotional, it was meticulously accessorized grief with a strict dress code and a social rule book thicker than a cemetery ledger. Mourning clothes served several purposes.
Publicly signaling your loss, showed respect for the deceased, demonstrated your family's social status, quietly told nosy neighbors not to invite you to brunch. Victorian grief came with phases. Think of it as emotional, downloadable content.
Full mourning, like a deep mourning. Typical length, widows up to 2 years, other relatives, months to a year.
And what did they wear? Matte black fabrics, black crepe, which is that wonderfully itchy fabric nightmare, veils covering the face, and minimal or no shine.
Sounds very uncomfortable, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Victorian widows weren't just heartbroken, they were also probably mildly uncomfortable and overheating. Nothing says eternal devotion like sweating politely in 14 layers of black crepe.
Mm.
Gotta feel great.
Mm. On to second mourning. After the strictest period, some subtle changes were allowed. Permitted upgrades were
Slightly softer black fabrics, small jet jewelry pieces, less oppressive veiling, very limited shine.
so probably not my corset.
No.
This was basically Victorian society saying you may now be 12% less visibly distressed. And lastly, half mourning, the goth glow up phase is where things got suspiciously fashionable.
Allowed colors lavender, mauve, gray, dull purple
Ooh.
tones. I know, we're getting a little color. Meaning you were still grieving, but socially re entering the land of the living.
Half mourning is Victorian for I'm sad, but I will attend your dinner party. Want to accessorize? Wear jet jewelry, a fossilized wood, which was the mourning bling of choice.
Wide jet, deep black color, lightweight, took a beautiful polish, symbolized eternal mourning, and the seaside town of Whitby, England became the jet capital of the world.
Sounds like a nice piece.
Yeah.
Fake jet was everywhere too, even in grief. Capitalism still found a way. Next, let's wear the widow's veil or the weeping veil. This was peak Victorian theatrical grief.
This featured long black crepe, often covered the entire face, sometimes reached the waist or knees, and excellent for mysterious entrances.
Ooh.
I know.
Practical downsides, limited visibility, overheating, occasional walking into furniture
I
incidents,
could see that.
historically unconfirmed but emotionally believable.
Absolutely. And nothing says dignified sorrow like dramatically bumping into a hat stand. How about some hair jewelry? Intimate and slightly unsettling.
Victorians often wove the deceased's hair into rings, lockets, brooches, bracelets. It was considered to be deeply sentimental and not creepy. I get that.
I do too. I think it's a beautiful thing. Modern reaction is mild screaming. Victorian reaction, how thoughtful. Victorians also practiced post-mortem photography because nothing says family keepsake like the one last group photo where Uncle Henry is extremely still.
Well, suspiciously still there.
Yes.
Sounds like strange today, but photography was expensive and rare. This is often the only family photo that they had of loved ones.
And I totally agree with it.
And honestly, equal parts heartbreaking and fascinating. They even made jewelry from the deceased's hair. I keep my fiance's hair in my phone case.
Yes. And it's true. She's not lying.
He's not dead.
No.
I just love him.
She likes to pick it and keep it.
Yeah.
Well, Victorians really said, I miss you, so now you're a bracelet.
Mhm.
So, how has the Victorian era started goth culture? The Victorian era was peak dark romantic literature. Writers leaned hard into
Tragic love, beautiful decay, haunted spaces, existential dread, the classy kind. Key vibes to include were brooding anti heroes, crumbling mansions, morally questionable science, and very bad decisions made by candlelight.
this literary mood directly shaped the emotional DNA of modern goth culture. Translation: without Victorian melodrama, half of goth poetry would lose its emotional support scaffolding. Another detail that feels extremely on brand: Victorians didn't just visit cemeteries to mourn. They picnicked there. What is with me and panicking in the cemetery? They picnicked. Yes, with sandwiches.
Large garden cemeteries in the 1800s were designed as public parks, walking spaces, reflective landscapes, and social outing spots.
They featured elaborate statues, weeping angels, ornate headstones, winding paths. Sound familiar?
Modern goth photography locations didn't invent the cemetery stroll. Victorians were already taking melancholy walks among the headstones like professionals. Nothing says family outing like lemonade and gentle dread.
Or panic?
Panicking with
There
sandwiches.
you go. This is the real core. Victorian culture normalized something crucial, the idea that sadness could be beautiful. They embraced melancholy, emotional intensity, romantic tragedy, and dramatic visual symbolism.
Modern Gothic culture inherits this directly, not the exact clothing, not the exact music, but the emotional philosophy.
What goth is not, Victorians did not call themselves goth, wear eyeliner for emotional emphasis, or hang out at industrial dance nights, tragically.
But they absolutely built the emotional and visual foundation for the Gothic subculture later embraced. Modern goth as we know it emerged in the late 1970s post punk scene.
When music got moodier and hairspray budgets skyrocketed.
Bands like Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees, and The Cure defined the sound.
Sad lyrics, dramatic vocals, and enough reverb to haunt a cathedral. Goth clubs became safe havens for outsiders.
Places where wearing six belts for no functional reason was not only accepted, it was encouraged.
By the late 1990s and early 2000s, mall goth was born.
Yes, the sacred pilgrimage to Hot Topic or Ravens and Rockers.
Right? Trip pants,
Wallet chains.
and at least one friend who absolutely should not have been trusted with black lipstick. Modern goth is what happens when Victorian melancholy, post punk music, and lifelong commitment to black clothing all move into the digital age together.
It is not dead, it is not just a phase, and it is absolutely still owning more eyeliner than most pharmacies. Let's descend. The core of modern goth. Spoiler, it's not just the clothes.
At its heart, goth is less about wardrobe and more about aesthetic philosophy. Modern goth culture centers on finding beauty in darkness, emotional depth over surface cheerfulness, romantic melancholy, artistic self expression, and a healthy suspicion of overly bright lighting.
Despite what TikTok sometimes suggests, goth is still fundamentally a music based culture. The sound evolved from post punk, dark wave, gothic rock, and industrial crossover.
Core modern listening includes classic goth staples, still worshipped properly, dark wave revival bands, synth heavy moody acts, and underground electronic scenes.
Important reality check. If somebody says they're goth but has never voluntarily listened to a moody reverb at 2 a.m., the council may have questions. Let's talk about goth fashion, controlled drama. Today, goth fashion is wildly diverse, but some eternal truths remain. The non negotiables are black is still a primarily food group, layering is heavily encouraged, textures matter a lot, boots are emotionally important, but modern goth is far less than rigid Victorian mourning ever was.
A major modern goth style is trad goth, the Batcave descendants, the closest to the original 80s look. Features include big teased hair, dramatic eyeliner, fishnets, and leather and lace. My fave. I absolutely know what a cassette tape is. Energy.
Tread goths dress like they personally witnessed the birth of post punk, and honestly, we respect that.
Creature, what are some of your favorite goth things to wear?
Well, for one, clearly the boots. I've got quite the collection. I love my corsets. I usually have my nails done. I hurt one of them, so I had to let it rest. Like,
She broke it.
yeah.
One of the biggest modern shifts. Goth aged, and gloriously so.
hmm Unlike many youth subcultures, goth didn't evaporate after high school. Oh no. Many original scene members simply kept the music, kept the style, refined it but did not retire it, kept the attitude, and invested heavily in good skincare. Elder goths are proof that the phase did not, in fact, end.
Modern goth isn't about living in the past.
It's about bringing the past forward, preferably in platform boots.
From Victorian mourning to digital dark wave,
The aesthetic of beautiful darkness is still very much alive, and still better dressed than most of us.
today's goth scene is more diverse than ever.
You've got tread goth, pastel goth, corporate goth.
Oh, okay, that's just goth with jobs.
Platforms like TikTok have introduced goth to a whole new generation.
Nothing more surreal than seeing Victorian mourning aesthetics explained in 30 seconds between dance trends. And let's not forget the elder goth.
Still dramatic, still moisturized, and still judging your eyeliner.
Let's bust some myths, shall we? Myth number one, goths are depressed.
Incorrect. Many goths are actually quite cheerful, just aesthetically haunted.
And myth two, goth is just a phase.
Tell that to me when I'm 50 years old, still buying platforms.
I bet you will. Myth three, goth equals evil.
If liking candles and sad music is evil, then so be it. But we are deeply suspicious.
Creature, what would you like to see out of the goth community of today?
There's quite a bit. um, I mean, for one, more inclusivity. Today, goth has kind of gotten bottlenecked quite a bit, and kind of a lot of people saying, you're not goth or whatever. It's,
So the judging instead of
yeah,
just, being who you want to be.
yeah, yeah. Be, help people out more that genuinely want to get into it and have maybe seen the wrong kind of people on TikTok, because there's a lot of them there. Just helping them find the better way in. And I'm not gonna get too far into this, but goth is not political. That stays out.
As it Gothic culture has always been about finding beauty in darkness.
And occasionally spending way too much money on black clothing that you swear are different shades.
Whether Victorian mourners or modern night creatures,
The goth spirit is still very much alive.
stay strange.
Stay spooky, and thank you for watching this episode of Creepin' It Real.
If you enjoyed the madness, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit it anyway. Subscribe for more questionable life choices and mildly concerning or controversial topics. Think you might want to know when a new episode airs? Click the notification button because you know you want to. Until next time, sleep well. And if something goes bump in the dark, don't panic. Just creep it real.
Welcome.